Hi, my name is Paddy Horn and I'll be taking you for Digital Tree for this semester. What I'm going to do in this tutorial is introduce the course, talk about the different online resources that are available to you that'll help you to support you through the assignments that are due throughout the course. In the next tutorial after this, I'll talk about the assignments and what's involved in those. I'll also talk here about how you can contact me and the actual steps in the process and the overview of the whole course. So without any further ado, I'll jump into PowerPoint and we'll get cracking. Okay, so are you ready? I hope so. So as I mentioned already, my name is Paddy Horn and my email address is patrick.horn@tudublin.ie. And as you'll see later on, I have a contact us section, and email is as good a way as any to contact me normally. So what's the aim of this module? Well, to act as an introduction into the uses and possible uses of the myriad of electronic channels at our disposal within the hospitality, tourism, leisure and events industry. And we'll focus on the effective development and maintenance of these digital channels. So what we're going to do is really look at an array of channels. This is Digital Tree and it goes hand in hand with Digital 4, which you can take next year. And what over the two modules we intend on covering all of the areas of digital channels that are available to you, and we look at how to best use them from a business perspective. So we're going to focus on some of these channels this year in Digital Tree, and you'll see exactly how that works in the next little while. Okay. So in order to help us to achieve our aims, we've put together a number of different online resources. The first thing I'm going to talk about here is the website. We have a dedicated website specifically for this particular module, which is ITEC 3002 or Digital Tree. The web address for that is patrickhorn.wixsite.com/digital tree, as you can see there. And you'll be getting all these links on day one of the course anyway. So what I'm going to do is just jump into the website here right now, and we'll actually go through what's involved in the website and how the whole thing works. Okay, so what we have across the top here is the number of different areas in the website. You can see home, tutorials, downloads, help, and contact. And underneath tutorials, you'll see unit 1 to 7. Now, you'll see in a couple of minutes when we look at the actual stages involved in the module, you'll see that there are 7 units in the module, each unit covering a different aspect of the course. And we'll jump into these in a minute just to get a look at what's going on there. Obviously, the downloads, we'll have a look at all the downloads available to you, throughout the actual course. Help, we'll talk about that, and then contact us. So I'll first of all look at home here, and I'll just scroll up here. And what you see, first of all, is a module overview. And this little graphic here will become very familiar to you over the next little while. You'll see me introducing the course using this as well. So really what we have here is we have a number of different channels, and we'll talk about how we'll deal with those in the different units involved. Okay. Across the top here, just as I scroll up as well, you'll see that there's a link to Dropbox, which I'll talk about in a few minutes, which is a place where I'm going to store, it's kind of an archive for all of the files that we're going to be using in this course. Okay, every PowerPoint, every PDF, every Excel file, all of the downloads that you need to look at, all of the actual examples of previous assessments that have been done, and so on, will be in there. Then the next one up is we have a dedicated YouTube channel for Digital Tree, and in there we're going to store all of the videos, and there's a lot of videos because every single tutorial that we're going to use will have a video associated with it. And as well as that, we'll be also throughout the course we'll be carrying out some virtual Q&As, and they will also be stored on YouTube as videos as well. So we'll record them for anyone who can't make them and so on. Okay, so we'll also have a look at Brightspace. Now I'm really only using Brightspace as a link to all the other resources that we're talking about. Okay, so I'll just scroll up here. As you can see here, I talked about 7 units, and you can see here that there's a link to the certain units here, and you can see Unit 1 is really just course introduction, which I'm dealing with today. And the first tutorial here is the one I'm dealing with right now, which is module introduction. Then Unit 2 looks at pay-per-click, Unit 3 blogs, and so on. Okay, so we'll see those in a few minutes when I look at the structure of the course and the different parts of it. Then you see the module resources. So as I've mentioned, we have a website here, and the link is on this here. Okay, so it's as I've mentioned, it's patrickhorn.wixsite.com/digitaltree. And all of these links will be given to you on day 1 of the course, so everybody's access to all of these. We have a link to Dropbox, which I'll talk about what Dropbox is in a few more minutes and what we're going to use it for. We'll have dynamically generated links to Zoom, which we'll be using for our question and answer forums. And then we've got YouTube as well. Okay, with a YouTube channel and a link to Brightspace. And at the bottom here, you'll see that there's a link to my email address, more links to the actual other channels here that we're talking about, and we've also got an online form that you can fill in. Okay, so I'll have a quick look at Unit 1 just to show you an example of how this whole thing is going to work. So once I open up Unit 1 here, you can see that in Unit 1 we have there's going to be 3 topics in here. The first one is Digital Tree module introduction, which is the one we're dealing with right now, and there'll be a video which will be exactly the one that we're creating right now. There'll be a little bit of a background of what it is. There'll be a link to PowerPoints, and in some cases there'll be links to download examples or other maybe PDFs and so on as well. Okay, so there'll be other resources there, and you'll see that every single one of my tutorials will have the same type of format, so you'll get the idea of what it's about. You'll be able to watch the video, you'll be able to go step by step through it, you'll be able to open up the PowerPoints and look at examples and look at notes, etc., that will help you through the process. Okay, all of these examples, etc., will also be stored in the download section, which I'll talk about in a few minutes. Okay, so as I said, there's going to be 3 different topics within this tutorial, but in other tutorials, in other units, there's going to be a lot more. So we'll just have a quick look here at the download section and see what's involved here. So in here, you've got the module descriptor, which is an overview of the module. You've got assignment 1, assignment 2, and in this particular module, there'll be more than those number of assignments. So we'll talk about those in the next tutorial. You've got assignment 1, so you'll have assignment examples. So I'll give you examples of previously done assignments, ones that, like your thesis, that'll be in the library, will be over 70%. So it'll be very good examples of what you should be doing. And then down along here, you'll have links to all your units, which are all PowerPoints. You'll have links to all the tutorials. You'll have links to other downloads as well, which will be links to, most of these will link to files in here or else on Dropbox. And then there'll be exercises which I will release in line with the course material. So I won't be releasing those at the beginning of the course. I'll be releasing the exercise that I want you to do, just in time for you to do them, so to speak. Okay. So I'm just going to have a quick look at the help section here. In the help section, there are a number of different ways to contact me, and you'll see these again. I'll deal with those in the PowerPoint in a few minutes. But there's forms, there's an online chat forum, there's also frequently asked questions. So when I get asked a question either by email or in a chat forum or by any method really, if I find that this question is useful to the entire group, I will put it up into frequently asked questions and share it with everybody. Sporadically, we're going to have virtual Q&As, which I will record and place here. Okay, so you may, over the course of the module, I don't know how many we're going to be dealing with, but we might have as many as 12. And I'll save those in here. So if anybody can't make the time that the virtual Q&A is on, I will record it so you won't miss out on what was said and what was done and so on. Okay, so that's your dedicated website, and it really is going to be the core information distribution method that we're going to use. Okay, so jumping back to the PowerPoint, I'm going to go on to the next one here. Along with the website, we're going to have Dropbox. And as I mentioned before, Dropbox is really a place where I'm going to archive every single file that you're going to need with regards to downloads, etc. Now, most of these downloads or all of these downloads will be available on the download section of the website, but it's a very simple way where you can go in here and instead of clicking on each individual file, you can actually, in this case, you can download the entire folder if you want to. So you can just do it in one fell swoop. So it'll be very simple for you to access it and to use it in different ways. So as I mentioned, there'll be exercises in here, there'll be PowerPoints in here, there'll be notes in here, there'll be previous examples in here, there'll be marking schemes for your assignments and so on. And there'll be other resources and tools that we'll use throughout the course as well. And I'll put them all in there. So at least everyone will know exactly where the files can be accessed. The next one up is YouTube, and as I mentioned, most of our tutorials will be recorded, video records, and we're going to save them up on YouTube, but we'll also put them on the website as well. Okay, so we'll save those, and the YouTube channel, again, it's a dedicated YouTube channel for Digital Tree. And what we'll have, it's a tinyurl.com/TUD-D3B, okay, which is Digital Tree B. And you can see there that at the moment I'm populating this, so we will have, by the end of it, you'll have probably 30 or 40 videos. The way I'm dealing with this is I'm going to keep the videos as short as possible so you can watch them as often as you want, and you can recap and you can touch base with the videos as often as you want. Rather than me recording a unit or a class, which would be 2 hours long or whatever, I'm going to record a topic which is going to be way shorter. Then we're going to have Zoom sessions, as I said, for your virtual Q&As, and the URL for these will be dynamically generated. We'll more than likely use the same URL on a continuous basis, an ongoing basis. And I'll email it out to people and you'll know what it is and you can link into it when we have those sessions. And then, as I mentioned, Brightspace. Now, what I'm using Brightspace for is just literally a method of linking to the other resources that we have. So it's a way of linking to our website, to Dropbox, to Zoom, and to the YouTube channel. So I'm not going to really put that much up on Brightspace. I'm going to put it up on the other channels, and Brightspace is just a way of accessing those. So there's all our online environment, which is, to me, should be a huge resource for you. Okay. And as I said, the links are provided here, and I'll provide them to you on day one, so everybody has access to all the resources that they need throughout the course. Now, how do you contact me? Well, as I said, probably the easiest way to contact me is the most straightforward way is my email address. So it's patrick.horn@tudublin.ie. But there's lots of other ways. As I mentioned, on the website, we have a live chat, which is ongoing, and we have a contact form, which you can just fill out and send in to me. Okay. And as well as that, we're going to have virtual Q&As, which again I will record and put up on YouTube and up on the website, so people will be able to access all of that information and be able to ask any burning questions that they may have. With regards to my phone number, I wouldn't bother. And finally, in this section, I'm going to have a look at frequently asked questions. As I mentioned, if there's something that somebody sends to me or somebody asks me about that I find will be useful to the entire group, I'll put it up into the frequently asked questions section and share it with everybody. So, getting on to the course, and what structure are we going to follow and what process are we going to follow? Well, there's a number of building blocks. What we're looking at here is digital channels and getting competent at using these digital channels. So we're not going to do all the digital channels here. We're going to focus on some this year, and if anybody wants to do, or in some cases it's a core module, Digital 4 will focus on other ones as well. So the first ones we're going to look at are the whole idea of the different channels and the different groupings, and there's quite a few that we're going to focus on, and a lot of you are looking at these and say, oh yeah, we use these very regularly, we're very au fait with them. Well, the truth is, you may be from a personal perspective, but maybe not from a business perspective. So we're going to look at these channels from a business perspective on how you might promote, sell, and get people interested in your brand. So the first section we're going to look at, which is looking at Unit 2, which is the whole idea of pay-per-click advertisement. And we're going to focus on that. There's a good section on there, and we're going to focus on it right from beginning to end, so everybody will have a very good understanding of what's involved there. The next section we're going to look at are blogs, and this is Unit 3 of this course. Okay, so blogs, the main ones that are there, there's lots more besides Tumblr and WordPress, but they're the main ones that are most commonly used ones out there, and we're going to focus mainly on Tumblr there. And then we have, in that same category really, even though it's going to be Unit 4, we're going to have a look at microblogs. And there are many different applications or apps out there that will help you to deal with microblogs, but Twitter is by far the most commonly used, so we're going to focus on that as our business tool. But it's not really about how to use Twitter, it's how you use Twitter to sell your brand, okay? To encourage people to know about your brand, to understand your brand, and hopefully to buy into your brand, okay? Then we're going to have, moving on to the social channels, and the first social channel we're going to have a look at is Facebook. And again, it's the most commonly used app out there at the moment, or social media channel, and we're going to focus on that. And we're mainly going to focus on Facebook pages, etc., and how we can use that from a business perspective. Then we look at the whole idea of image-based channels, and if I ask most people what channels are their most commonly used channels, a lot of them would focus on these image-based channels. So we're going to have a look at these. What are the differences? What do they have in common? Who's using them? Are there different audiences using different channels? And of course there are. So we're going to have a look at that in Unit 6 of this course. And then the final unit we're going to look at is the whole idea of direct marketing. Now, when I talk about direct marketing, a lot of people think, my God, direct marketing is kind of so old hat. It's, you won't even think of direct marketing as digital media, but of course it is, and it's a very effective digital media channel. So we're going to look at that and how best we can use that from a business perspective. So that looks at all the building blocks of our of our digital tree module, and we're going to deal with them from, as I say, unit 1 to 7 throughout the module. So tune in a minute. We're going to look at the whole idea of what your assessments are. So we look at that in tutorial 2. And again, your assessments will focus on many of these channels as well.